everyone, this is Crystal, and today I'm back with week 3 in my 2020 Project Life album. You can see I already have my photos printed and ready to go. I need to just trim them up. I also have a little stack of ephemera, just some bits and pieces from our week. If I don't get to include these, I'm not going to be too upset, but just in case I'm able to, I have them there. They would help tell one story I have to tell this week, but they're just not essential. As for supplies, I sat and thought for a while about what I wanted to use for this week. I don't have a kit that I'm using at the moment. My Citrus Twist kit from January is almost used up. I have used it for several projects already, so there's not enough there to do this week. So I was trying to think about collections that would work with these colors or with the stories I have to tell. And then I remembered that back in last fall, I had actually created some stash kits that I had intended to use this year. So when I was doing some reorganizing and some moving of things around my craft room, I decided to put together some stash kits, which is one of the things I love to do with my stash to get it used up. A couple years ago in 2017, I think, I actually created a kit for every month in 2016 and then used them in 2017. And I kind of thought I would do that again this year just to get some stuff used up. It was a really effective way to use up my stash. I didn't create 12 months worth of kits before the year started, but I do have a few. So I did grab the one I had picked out for January. Now this is a pretty big kit. I tend to make these kits fairly large because my intention is to do all sorts of different projects with them. So there's quite a bit here. I don't remember everything that's here. Like I said, I put this together several months ago. So we're just gonna open it up and see what's here and see if I can make it work with this spread. So like I said, I'm going to start by just flipping through all of the contents of this kit really quickly. You can see there's a variety of things here from different manufacturers and from different time periods as well. Some of it is pretty old, some of it is not that old, some of it's just from last year. You can see there's some Pinkfresh Studio from about this time last year. There is some very old pebbles, and I think there's even a sassafras paper in here. Some older Pink Paisley and Paige Evans as well. Just a variety of things. And I don't, of course, end up using a lot of this because I'm only creating one single page, a pocket page. So I don't use any of the papers. I did pull out that piece of patterned vellum because it's beautiful and I thought, oh, I have to use that, but I didn't really have a way to add it to the page, so it doesn't end up making it. So while I'm just thinking about all of the things that I saw there in the kit, I'm going to go ahead and trim down my photos. So I print my photos at home on a Canon printer. I print them on 4x6 Canon glossy paper. All of those supplies are actually linked in my favorite things on my blog, so I'll be sure to link those down below in case you're curious about what I use to print. But because I print them on 4x6, I always have to trim them down to 3x4 or smaller, and I always print 3 sizes. So I print 4x6, I print 3x4, and then I print 2.5 by 2.5. So the square ones that you see there are 2.5 by 2.5, and then that allows me to give them a little bit of a white border, and also they can fit inside the pocket. Okay, so everything's trimmed out. I think I know where I want them to go. I can start by looking through the Project Life cards that I've added to this kit. These are from Hip Kit Club and Ellie's Studio, I think mostly. I think there may be a Studio Calico one in there, but I think they're mostly Hip Kit or Ellie's Studio. And I'm just flipping through to see what will work, keeping in mind that I want a good balance of color. So that title card that I chose is very colorful. It has lots of colors in it, and I want to make sure all of those colors are represented on some other card in this spread. So I'm keeping that in mind as I choose cards for the blank spaces that I have. I also have one of the little envelopes from Pinkfresh Studio. I think it's from Everyday Musings. That's the purple one with the label in the center. To the left there, that's actually a little pocket. So I'm going to use that to add some of the ephemera that I have for this week to the page. So that's what I'm doing there, just making sure that it will fit inside that pocket, and it will. So I'm going to set that aside because everything needs to be trimmed out. And I thought about maybe making it a flip. So I was looking through to see if I wanted to add anything over the top of it, but I decided just to leave it as is. And here I am trying to add that vellum, but like I said, it's not going to end up working. It just didn't stand out enough over the top of the patterns that I had on this page. So I'm going to save it and use it for another project. Next, I'm just looking through the embellishments and starting to figure out what I want to add to this page. I have 2 sheets of these Ellie Studio labels. I'm a big fan of Ellie Studio labels. I bought a bunch of them at one point, and I'm still working through that stash. So that is what this is from. I think it's from Live, Laugh, Love, I believe, is the collection. It's fairly old. So I cut 2 of them because I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, and I don't actually end up using either of them, but I will use one of the gray ones on one of the other cards. So they do get used. Okay, now I can start going through the ephemera packs. There were 2 in this kit. One is from Everyday Musings from Pinkfresh Studio. That's the one I'm going through now. And I'm just doing the thing that I always do, where I just go through each piece and plop it down on the page somewhere if I think it might work, and then set the rest of it aside. I always pick out way more than will actually end up on the page, but it just helps me narrow things down, narrows my options, makes it a bit easier when I go to work on each individual card to decide what exactly is going to end up on the card in the finished page. So just going through this ephemera pack, it's a really beautiful pack. It was a beautiful collection. It was one of my favorites from the first part of last year. So I'm surprised I have this much left. I think I just had so much product to work through last year that a lot of it ended up being neglected, which is the point of these kits that I create, right? It's to get it out of my stash and used. This set is one that I've been hoarding. So it was actually a freebie when you placed an order from Pinkfresh Studio. I think when you got a warehouse box, you got this ephemera pack and the coordinating puffy sticker set that's also in this kit as a freebie. So I'm pretty sure I placed that warehouse box order just to get these freebies because I thought they were absolutely adorable, and they are super adorable. And I thought they would coordinate really well with one of the Paige Evans collections that I've also added to this kit, and I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but I had some of that left, and I thought I could use this to kind of use up the bits of that collection that I had. It's several years old though, and I still haven't used it, so yeah, I'm happy to get it at least partially used in this page and in this kit. Hopefully I'll be able to use more of it up as I work through the kit. Okay, so I've pulled out some things that I think will work. I'm going to put the rest of it away, and then I can turn to the other embellishments. I start to look through the other embellishments, and I start to realize I need to get my journaling in place before I can add anything else to this page, or I'm going to make it harder on myself. So I'm going to stop here and go away and do my journaling, and there it is, all done. And now I can come back and actually finish this page. So I'm going to start with this top pocket. It's a 4x6 pocket, but I have 2 3x4 pieces. So I just grabbed a 4x6 card. It's actually just an index card, I think from the dollar store. It's just an easy way to add 2 3x4 things to a 4x6 pocket without wasting one of my better cards and without adding a lot of bulk because it's a pretty thin paper. So I just glued it down to that 4x6 card and trimmed around anywhere where I didn't quite get it straight. And I wasn't sure how I wanted to embellish that yet, so I'm going to come back to that one, and I'm going to work on the selfie that I have in the right pocket there. So I added that die cut from Pinkfresh Studio, and I added the little heart, and then that's going to be pretty much it for that one. For this bottom card, I'm just matting my photo on one of the 3x4 cards because I liked that it had all of the colors in that title card. And then I'm adding my journaling just on that gray label from Ellie Studio. And I wanted to add this little scallop piece from Pinkfresh Studio, but it didn't look quite right to me. I couldn't quite get it to work the way I wanted to. So I give up on that, and I decided to grab the washi tape strips from Ellie Studio, again from that Live, Laugh, Love, I think is the name of the collection. And I find one of those that will work. And I'm trying to peel it off, and for some reason I couldn't find the end. I couldn't get it to peel, so I ended up cutting it, thinking, oh, maybe they weren't pre-cut, but of course they were pre-cut. So after I cut it out and I peel it away, then I find, oh yeah, there's the edge. That's where I should have tried to peel it, but it's okay. It worked anyway. I don't end up using the whole strip on this card, and I struggled to get it into place, because of course I never do things in the right order. Ideally that would have gone down first before I adhered the things I put over the top of it, but you know, I didn't, so I had to try and make it work, and I eventually got it. And then I added that little gold floral piece to the top just to fill in that spot a little bit. And now I'm going to work on the foggy photo here. I added a little label just so I can do some handwritten journaling there. I just don't have a lot to say about it. I just kind of wanted to write about what it was that the picture was of. And then I added a few little floral die cuts as well, just to bring in some additional color to this photo, to this card, because it was otherwise fairly neutral. And then I'm going to work on the other 4x6, again keeping this one pretty simple. I have a little die cut and a label. I'm just sticking those together and then adding them to the top of my photo, and again doing just a couple lines of handwritten journaling, just basically describing what the photo is of. I don't have a lot to say that I haven't already typed into the large chunks of journaling, so those little labels just give me a little bit to give a little bit of room to give a little bit more of an explanation about the photo, although not a lot of room for a long story. Okay, so I'm moving on to my title card now. Since January is already there on the card, I thought I'd just add week 3 below it in these puffy alphas from Pinkfresh Studio. So I'm just grabbing the letters and keeping in mind that I want a balance of colors. So the problem I have with alphas like these that are multicolored is that I always struggle to make them look balanced, because I always feel like the color that I need isn't available in the letter that I need, and yeah, it's always just a bit of a struggle, but I get it to work. I want it also to be balanced with the colors that are in the printed card, so I'm trying to make them work together. And there's only 1 3, and I'm not crazy about the fact that it's purple and it's right underneath the R that's purple, but it just has to work because it's the only one there is. So I go with it, and I'm going to add this label from that Pinkfresh Studio die cut pack to the bottom, just so I have some place to stamp my dates, and then it fills in that blank space and also brings in a little bit more of that yellow color that I have throughout the spread. I'm using an older date stamp that I picked up a long time ago at the Target Dollars spot. It has the kind of European style of dating, which I like for Project Life because it makes it easy to add the weeks like this. So I just stamped that using some black ink, and that's going to be my title card all done. So I don't have a lot left to do here. I need to add my ephemera to that pocket, so that's what I'm going to work on next. And I want them all to be tags. So the story that I'm telling here is just about a shopping trip that I did recently. Actually, a bit more shopping recently than I normally do, than I've done in a long time. So it was worth noting, and it was all for a specific purpose. So that is what I wrote about. The tag was a little bit too long, so I just trimmed it down, and I'm not adhering these in at all. I'm just sticking them in the pocket so that if I want to pull it out later and read the journaling and see the tags, I can do that without having to, pry them up out of the bag, or out of the pocket. So I just stuck them in, and since they'll be in the plastic pocket, they aren't going to go anywhere. To embellish the front of that little pocket, I'm just using a couple of puffy stickers from both of the Pinkfresh Studio puffy sticker sets. I think it just says happy little moments or something like that. It's just kind of an everyday sort of story. And now I'm just looking through the rest of the puffy stickers to see if there's any other ones that I can add. I feel like I need a little something else on this bottom card, so I tried adding that heart, but I don't like the way that looks, so I'm going to end up pulling it back off and looking for something else to add. I also had this set of puffy hearts in this kit, also from Pinkfresh Studio, from the mix, I think, or the mix number 2, I'm not sure which one. So I added a little green heart to the other photo at the bottom to bring in more of that green color that's in the title card and in my journaling spots. And I'm still just looking for something else to add to that bottom card. So I pulled out that little package of bits and pieces that I had added to this kit, and I'm looking to see if any of those will work. There's some flare, some enamel shapes in there as well, and I just don't find the right thing yet, so I'm going to keep looking and see if I can find something else. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and finish up that top card that I didn't finish earlier, and I had a little die cut that said keeping it real that I had originally had on that bottom card, but didn't end up using there, so I'm going to end up using it at the top, and I'm going to use the other piece of that washi tape, also from the bottom card, and add it to the bottom of the top card, if that makes sense, to give that little die cut a place to live and to bring in more of that pink and red color to the top part of the page. It also works with the red that's in the photo right next to it, since it's a Target photo. There's lots of red in it. Okay, so nearly finished. Still need something for that bottom card to fill in that space there that feels empty. But I also wanted something on that Target photo because it feels like there's that big white space in the bottom that just is begging for something. I'm just not sure what yet. So still just kind of looking through everything, fiddling with it before I decide to add the two elements that I add. So I had this sticker set from Ellie's Studio. It's a food themed sticker set, and there is a sticker on it that says cheers, and I end up adding that to the bottom card, and I end up adding this puffy sticker to the top card. It says let the good times roll. And then that is going to finish off this spread. So there are some close-up photos coming up, so you can see all of the little details. I do have to say that I'm happy with how it turned out, but it is definitely not my favorite spread so far this year, even though it's only week 3. It's not my favorite. It's a little bit too colorful, a little bit too bright for me, but I am happy to have used these pieces, and I'm happy to have this spread all finished and in the album. So thank you so much for watching. I'd love to hear what you think about it, so please let me know in the comments below. And as always, I have everything linked in the description in case you're curious about what I've used. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you all back here soon.